It is New Year's Day, day one of 2014. I was planning on taking the muzzleloader off this afternoon, but yesterday my truck broke down, and I don't think the family minivan would do too well on Iowa's level B roads. As I get older, it seems like every single year goes by faster and faster, and 2013 was no different. This past year, we added our third child to the family and moved into a house with 3 acres of land. Most of my time was spent working and getting settled into our new house. All the extra time was spent with my family.
It's sweating at me. Oh boy.
Hunting definitely took a back seat. Matt Strayer and I were going to focus on a few extended weekends to see if we could get a mature buck down. We were able to make it out in September and do some quick scouting and hang several stand sets. Heading into the season, we knew our time was limited, but we were confident in our spots. We really wanted to focus on shooting a buck that was at least 4.5 years old, and we were getting several on trail camera, including a couple of very old deer with messed up racks. The first weekend in October was going to be our first and only outing before November rolled around. Matt checked cameras and realized that several deer were walking a field edge just after sunset, including a mature buck we named Old Ugly due to his big body and goofy rack.
It's Saturday, October 5th, and we just got settled into our stands. It's about 4:30, and there's a cool front passing through here, and so we're hopeful we're gonna have some action tonight. It should be pretty good with this drop in temperature, so we'll see what happens.
The evening was really slow, and just before dark, I looked through the trees and saw a few does and a young buck in the field. And then we both realized that the buck we nicknamed Old Ugly was with them, and he was headed in our direction. There wasn't much camera light left, but I was sure this buck was going to give us a 15-yard shot. And right before he walked into Matt's shooting lane, he actually turned and walked right towards our tree. Matt was at full draw. And just before Old Ugly cleared the brush, another deer spooked, and he ran right through our shooting lane. A mature buck at 7 yards on our first night out. so close. We also noticed that most of his tail was missing, and so we renamed this deer Bear Buns. We hunted the next morning without any luck and knew it would be a long wait until November 1st. On Halloween, I got ready to head to southeast Iowa with Matt, but before we did, our families enjoyed a little trick-or-treating.
Trick or treat!
As the sun set, I was anticipating the next 3 days. It was a late night. We drove down and got a couple hours of sleep before 3 straight days of hunting.
Well, it's the morning of November 1st. Matt, Hoffert, and I just settled into the tree this morning. So far, it's been a little bit uneventful. We haven't had anything come by, but we're really excited about the next few days. Things should start heating up pretty soon. This morning, we're in a funnel between 2 bedding areas, kind of up on a ridge with a field out in front of us. So we're really excited. We hope something comes through. Hey man, is that a shooter? Do you think that's a shooter deer? Hey man, is that a mature buck? Think that's a mature deer? I think it's a 3-year-old deer. He did exactly what we wanted him to do. Just for a brief moment, the wind shifted directions and must have swirled a little bit. They got our scent, but we were planning on sitting for a few more hours, but the wind has shifted to the north now, and it's just not going to be any good. Anything that comes by here, they're going to wind us, and we're just going to, let them, educate them on our spot. So we're going to get down, go back, kind of refuel, and try to figure out a plan for this evening. So.
We saw quite a few deer the first couple of days, just nothing that we felt was mature enough to shoot. On November 3rd, we thought we were in a great spot. After seeing very little movement, we decided to get down and hunt the field edge that once again we had pictures of bear buns walking along just before dark. It was kind of a frustrating morning, perfect conditions, a seemingly perfect spot, yet no deer. Matt started packing his things up, lowered his bow. I slowly put both of my cameras away and at that very second I heard something coming. We both looked up and it was a doe running through the timber right in our direction, and right on her tail was Bear Buns. Matt's bow was on the ground and I had just put my cameras away, and this deer stops at 15 yards broadside in our shooting lane, grunted a few times, and there was absolutely nothing that we could do.
We had a doe run by with a mature buck on her tail, and he stopped about 15 yards broadside. It was a buck we'd had encounter with before, and buck I've got a lot of pictures of, so pretty frustrated right now. Don't really know what to do, you know, you try to do everything you can do, and discipline, get up every morning early, get out here, and we just hadn't seen any movement for, 3 hours, but anyway, that's the way it goes. So trying to have a good attitude about it, stay positive, and just get back at it here, and gonna probably stay put the rest of the day. That was the deer we were gonna go after tonight on the north end, and he's down here on the south end.
We saw very little movement the rest of the night. So that makes 2 times we had this deer at 15 yards or less and could not seal the deal. After that, Bear Buns got his 3rd and final nickname, Lucky. Matt and I were planning on coming back on the 5th, but due to the flu bug hitting our house, we weren't able to leave until mid-morning on November 6th. We got ready as quickly as possible.
It's 2:30, we just got set up. Took us a while to get everything up here, hang stands, put camera equipment up. But we got an awesome view. You can see a long ways. We hunted here a few nights ago, saw a ton of deer, had a great 2.5-year-old walk right by. And as it started getting darker, the bucks were coming out like crazy, so we're hoping for the best tonight. We got about 3 hours of light left. As you can tell, it's really, really windy. We're on the highest part of the farm and probably one of the tallest trees, so every time it blows, we're feeling it pretty good. But I think as the night goes on, it's supposed to die down pretty good, so that's good for us. So hopefully November 6th, anything can happen. We're pretty excited. Got 3.5 days to hunt here over the next few days and see if we can get something down.
Before long, we were overlooking a great food plot, hoping we could catch a nice buck looking for does. We had only been in the stand for about a half hour when a few does came into the field. It was super windy, and the whole time they were feeding, they looked nervous. Those does were in the field for quite a while, and then through the wind, we thought we could hear a buck grunt.
Oh my gosh. Kill him.
A doe popped out right underneath us, and behind her was Lucky.
Oh my gosh.
So mature buck, buddy.
I did not get a whole lot of penetration, but we saw blood pumping out pretty good. That right there is a buck we call Lucky, who we have had within shooting distance 3 times, and we finally got it done. And I think we put a pretty good one on him. Didn't get a full pass through, but I think we blew through that near side shoulder, and he should hopefully be down within 100 yards or so. We shot that buck about 15 minutes ago or so. We're gonna climb down. It'll take us quite a bit to back all this stuff up. Go check my arrow out, and we think we made a great shot. Penetration might be the only issue.
We got down and found blood right away, and I was pretty confident in the shot, but the lack of penetration was starting to make me doubt. We thought we would walk right up to him. but when he ran into the timber, it got so thick and the sun was fading fast. We were on our hands and knees looking for blood. As it got dark, Matt and I met up in a clearing in the timber. We were super frustrated and shocked. This deer was within shooting distance 3 times, and we still did not have a tag wrapped around him. I was so frustrated and bummed out, but that quickly changed.
And we were seriously sitting here talking just like this, and we look over our left shoulder, and there he is, not 10 yards from us.
Well, here's a buck we call Lucky, and I feel pretty fortunate to be able to be sitting behind him tonight. We've had a lot of encounters with him. He came by at about 25 yards tonight, and kind of through an emotional roller coaster, we're finally able to track him down. And to put my tag on this Iowa old mature deer is definitely something that I'm very proud of.
To finally get Lucky on the ground was a huge blessing for Matt and I. Talk about an emotional roller coaster. We knew that going into the 2013 season, we were going to have to make the most of our time. We were going to have to be intentional in order to tag a mature buck. Every time Matt and I go out, it seems like we learn a lesson. I think my lesson for this year was a reminder to make the most of your opportunities. Are we making the most of the time, energy, resources, and opportunities that have been entrusted to us? And that's not just a question for the deer woods, but for everyday life as well.